I'm Dan Fitzpatrick here at StockMarketMentor.com on Saturday, September 18th. Well, let's add 10 days to that, September 28th. Looking at JP here, as you may know, as you probably should know, they're going to be settling with the U.S. government for like $11 billion, which is a kind of a hefty settlement for all of their wrongdoing, whatever. But what I'm doing is looking at the stock. You can see here on the weekly chart, we've really got support right down around 50 bucks or so. This blue line is the 40-week or 200-day moving average, and I want you to also notice, if we zoom in, not only has this long tail here, which is really kind of a reversal pattern, not only has this long tail tested and bounced off of the 200-day moving average, but also the lower Bollinger Band. So that's significant. It's basically crossed the entire Bollinger Band complex and is now down at support. Now, here's the thing. This is a really, really strong market. I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff underneath that's maybe not so strong, but if you're in the right stocks, this has been like just an amazing run and continues to be, and probably will be for some of these stocks, frankly, for another month. In fact, members, video number 2 is the Lucky 13, and I'm going to be following these stocks on a regular basis throughout the month of October, so we're going to make some money on that stuff. This is not one of them, but I wanted to mention this to you because you got to look at not just where you're buying, what you're buying, but also where you think this thing is going. So as I look at JP here, I'm looking at a top, say right about there. That's really the trading range. If you need some financial exposure, if you want to get, you want to buy a stock that's, say JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, I think this is the one right now. Even though it's below the 50-day moving average, I mean, I want you to ask yourself, is this really trending? Yes, it's up in the winner's circle here, up in the upper right, as opposed to the penalty box, lower right. But it's below the 50-day moving average. It's above the 200-day moving average. They're converging. Higher high, lower low. Basically, I got to just kind of draw a box after this breakout around this whole area here. So the stock is really consolidating. But is all the bad news baked into this stock? I'm going to argue that yes, it is. And so while this is not your instant gratification, let's buy Facebook and watch it go to 60 before earnings, this is a stock that you look at, you realize that it's in consolidation, that it makes these runs like this. So you take a small position in the stock right now. You be patient. This is not one that you're going to get rich on in 3 days. You take a small position in the stock, know that it'll probably grind around a little bit more. There's the 200-day moving average. And then when the stock breaks out, we'll call it, say, 56 bucks or so, because by the time it does break out, this is going to be far enough in the past that it's not particularly relevant. But when the stock starts to break out, then you take a little bit more stock. So you bought some initially, right down at support with a tight stop. And by the way, if the stock falls below 50 bucks, what do? You sell it. Like, this is not hard. Okay, you keep your stop here, and if you don't want to sell it, then don't keep a stop. Just let her go, whatever happens. But you put a stop just below support. If the stock falls below that, you sell. Okay, if the stock then comes up and runs back above it, you still want to get in, you buy. This is called a whipsaw. Okay, we get jigged back and forth. If you don't like that, if you can't handle that stuff, then you need to not trade, because that's a part of trading. It's called trading, not winning. Okay, it's called speculation. It's not called a sure thing. So getting shaken out is a part of trading, but if you just use this type of a tactic, like, okay, I see the stock trading sideways. Not every stock that I own in my portfolio can be some high-flying thing that's going to the moon. But you buy some at support, you watch this as it consolidates, and know that at some point the stock's going to be moving higher, and you're going to have already been involved from the low part of the box, and then you're buying more at the upper part of the box. So anyway, that's it for this video. Members, over to the weekend update. Like I said, pay attention to video number 2. I've got 13 stocks in there that I'm going to be following on a regular basis, and we're going to be making some money on those in the next month or so as earnings come out. So, and if you haven't tried Stock Market Mentor, please do so. It's a 30-day free trial. Trust me, in October, it's like the easiest trade you're going to make.